Alzheimer's is a cruel disease in so many ways, not least in that it leaves sufferers and their loved ones so isolated. But now there's a new drive to boost both acceptance and understanding.
Oops. I'm already doing that.
Kathy Smith has Alzheimer's, found out last year.
I kind of knew because my dad had had it. I had lots of colours.
She's only early 50s.
Changed. I cried for about the first month, and then I thought, this is ridiculous. I can't cry for the rest of my life. And I'm fine. I don't think I've cried for a long time.
Kathy's holding a lunch so she can talk about it positively.
Just go for a lovely walk.
So is Helen James.
I went into a bit of shock. I'd heard the word, but didn't really understand what it truly meant.
Husband Gordon has Alzheimer's. 9 years in, doesn't really talk at all. So Helen's party will be in his honour for friends to get the conversation going and talk about dementia.
I couldn't believe that this was happening to us right on retirement. And my immediate reaction was, how do I fix this? But unfortunately, I learned that with dementia, there's no cure, and there's really very, very little treatment around.
Do you like these?
People don't know how to react when someone they know is diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's president Ita Buttress says awareness is already out there about those brain cell fibre clumps that choke communication and slowly over years shut down the body. But because we still can't pinpoint why they form, dementia and Alzheimer's create great fear and a stigma.
1 in 10 Australians said they would avoid spending time with someone who had dementia. And people who have a diagnosis often tell us that they feel a sense of shame, and the carer and the person with dementia is often left on their own.
Going to finish the painting?
Gordon is toward the end of his journey. He needs full-time care and a nursing home. Not isolated, just living within himself.
I've noticed there are some friends who still continue to see Gordon, but I understand it is very difficult for them because there is absolutely no conversation.
See you next time.
Look at my husband. He can't follow a film. He can't read.
Bye-bye,
He
darling.
can't communicate.
You go with Thomas.
You ready?
Early days for Kathy, hardly any symptoms.
Forgetful, repeating myself. Everybody would say, oh, but you've just said that. And I had no clue that I had just said it.
Expensive medicine helps a bit, but from time to time she stumbles.
We had to go through, sorry.
That's right. Surrounded by her very attentive family, she's adjusting to the frustrations of Alzheimer's.
The other week I tried to make a cake and I totally botched it and I was fuming, and then I cried for about, a few minutes.
It's such a cruel condition, afflicting 330,000 Australians right now and costing us all over $5 billion in healthcare every year.
Every 6 minutes in Australia today, someone is diagnosed with dementia.
John Watkins from Alzheimer's Australia says by 2030, 500,000 Australians will be affected. By 2050, over 900,000. That's why it's so vital to fund research to find a cure, or at least a treatment, and why we have to talk about it.
But to think if you develop dementia, people will feel humiliated, where's that coming from? Well, where it's coming from is this fear and lack of information and prejudice there currently is about dementia.
Kathy's daughter Sarah is planning their Alzheimer's party. Husband Norm is never far away, and young Will helps wherever he can.
And I guess the worst thing is that most of the suffering is done by the families, and it's not necessarily the person with the disease.
Family and friends will gather this weekend with Kathy, and she'll do a lot of talking about dementia and probably raise a lot of money for the cause. Around Australia, hundreds of families will be doing the same thing under the banner, Bring It to the Table.
Would anyone like some red wine.
Helen's party for Gordon a few days ago got all their friends together with their donations for Alzheimer's research. Gordon couldn't be there, but his life was celebrated. Is Gordon happy?
Well, when I see the smile on his face, I feel that he is okay. But I don't quite know what okay is in his world anymore. But I really do think he is as happy as he can be in his world.
Such a cruel condition. You can find more details on the Bring It to the Table event on our website.